Hello, welcome to the Christian Bachkalupi Show, and surprise, surprise, we're talking about the presidential debates. So originally, I started watching the debate, not live, I had it DVR'd, and I was taking notes, and my first notes were very vague, wasn't very detailed at all, and I kind of breezed through the first half hour. Then the second half hour took a few hours. Actually, it probably did more than probably 40 minutes. But that took a few hours. Um, Finally, we went over the time. I usually like airing this because it was 40 minutes, it took about 3 hours. So I was like, screw it, I don't know when the rest of this debate's ending. I'm just watching the debate, and I'll try to remember anything I can. Which, by the way, is probably why one of the reasons I was bad in college is because my note taking. Either it's not informative enough, or I just can't keep up because I'm trying to be too detailed because I don't know what to leave out and what to note. So yeah, a little note to there about school. Eric July, Young Ripa something something on YouTube. He made a good point about on his video, watch me, not the debates, because he's a libertarian and he thinks they're both trash. And I don't want to put words in his mouth. Go check him out. Free plug, because I'm sure he needs it from me. Anyway, yeah. So school should be a little better for people who have trouble taking notes, because everybody learns differently. Anyway, let's get to the debates. Alright, so right off the bat, this was probably a tie, but it was probably a very moral victory for Biden, and I'll tell you why. And let's compare this to a boxing match. Trump is your world champion. 4 years ago, he went through his division of Republicans, wiped the floor with them, and then went head to head with the best the Democrats had to offer, who didn't go through as many people, went through two other Democrats, as opposed to Trump went through all those Republicans. Anyway, went against Hillary, won a split decision. But he's a champ. And as for Biden, people expected Biden to be in this boxing tournament and possibly come out of the Democrats' bracket and probably become the next president, become the world champion of this presidential boxing. Instead, he retires. So you have a boxer pretty much inactive for 4 years. Well, you got the president, the champ, getting in that work. So then, this retired, retired boxer who people thought was great at one time comes in, and we see him struggling in the Democratic tournament, let's say. A lot of gaffes, a lot of like, what? How's he doing that? Or like, you know the things, you know the things. He had some gaffes, he said some things, and it was like, what? This isn't the same Joe we knew before. So leading into the debate, looking at Joe, I'm like, he's going to get killed by Trump. Trump's going to eat him alive. And that's not just Republicans saying that. That's people on the left saying that as well. Except for the ones, those sports fans who, like, no matter how bad their team is, they'd be like, oh yeah, we're going to win tonight. No matter who they play. Oh, we're playing the best team in the league? Yeah, we're going to win tonight. You guys are terrible. We're going to win tonight. So anyway, just to touch on Biden getting through the Democratic Party. I know people are like, oh, he barely got through, and Trump even mentions that. And we'll keep in the boxing analogy. He didn't exactly win every fight to get to where he is now. Though some people are like, oh, well, if things would have went different, Biden would have, or Bernie would have won. Well, here's the thing about that. Bernie has a solid group of Democrats behind him. The problem is that solid group isn't bigger than the majority of the Democrats that don't want his type of Democrat. Especially since he's not, I don't even believe he's actually a Democrat. He just runs on the ticket because he knows that's the best chance. And his policies lean way left, and Democrats are on the left, so. But that's why all those people who dropped out made it easy for Biden to win. So the people were mad that there were shenanigans for Biden to beat Bernie. No. Not really. And this is why I believe, let's go back to earlier videos where I talk about how primary should be. It should be everyone at one time. You vote yes or no on everybody. You can vote yes on everybody. You can vote no on everybody. I don't know why you would do it like that, because that'd just be a waste of time. But the two guys with the most, or girls, the two people with the most yeses would move on to the general election. Anyway, and it'd be on the same day. None of that. These states pretty much get to decide the last two, and then the next few states get to decide the winner, and the rest of the states get to be like, I guess I'll show up and vote just for formality. Anyway, back to the debate. Biden, Trump, and back to the analogy. So you got the champ against this this old fighter who came out of retirement, has not looked good, kind of got smacked around a good bit, but still pulled through and won. So it's fight night. You got the champ, and you got the old retired, not looking that great, fighter. And they go at it, and they end up tying. The champ doesn't look like he's incredibly on his game. You know, the old retired guy's leaving his chin out, but the champ's not taking advantage. Also, the champ is leaving his arms down and letting the challenger get shots in. And that's kind of how this debate was. Now, let me also add, the referee had some stuff to do with this. I don't think he was a bias. Let me get that out of the way. I heard some people like, oh, Chris Wallace is going to be unfair for Trump. Didn't agree going into that, especially because he's a Fox News employee. You know, Fox News is kind of for the right, kind of for the Republicans. So I came in, and I think he's a very impartial guy. I haven't seen enough of him, or heard enough of him, because I hear him more on the radio on, I forget what station they play. It's like a replay of all the Sunday morning news shows. So anyway, I think he's impartial, but he kind of helped Biden out. And I don't think it was purposeful. It was just, I think it was a mix of, at the beginning, it was, and this might go over 10 minutes, by the way. You probably know that if you clicked on the video. You know, the beginning format was very, all right, you get 2 minutes, don't interrupt each other. You get 2 minutes, don't interrupt each other. And then for a little bit, you guys can go back and forth, don't interrupt each other. Which was going for about 1 or 2 rounds. And then it got crazy. And then all 3 of them were yelling at each other. And then Wallace tried to get everything situated. And they were still interrupting each other, but not as bad. And then Trump was kind of interrupting a little bit more than Biden. But to be fair, Biden was definitely saying things about Trump where it's like, you got to give him his chance to reply. But I think at that point, between time and just dealing with everything, Wallace was like, no, we're doing this. We're doing this. No, what? We're doing this. And it kind of favored Biden. So definitely, with all that, and time's running out, and I'm kind of running out of analogies, I found this to be a draw. Both made good points. Both made good shots at the other guy. I think Trump missed some chances to knock Biden's block off. Biden did he wasn't the senile, dementia old man a lot of us half expected. I was very excited to see him first talk, and he kind of stumbled out the gate and was fine. He stumbled here and there, but he was fine. It's really comes down to fact checking. So what I would suggest to you, if you want to know who really won, find an unbiased fact checker, and you know whether they're biased or not, because they'll either favor one guy's lies over the other, because I know both of them weren't telling the truth the whole time. Well, I don't like, they weren't always correct. Because sometimes, I don't know why, people call someone a liar when they weren't lying, they were just wrong. So I'll give them both the benefit of the doubt. There were definitely times where they were incorrect. And just to touch on another thing, I don't know why Trump or his supporters don't jump on obvious lies about Trump from the other side. Perfect example, the Charlottesville speech, and that was part of the debate, where Trump says there was very fine people on both sides. If you actually watch the speech, he makes sure to say, before he says there's very fine people, he said on both sides, and I am not talking about the white supremacists and Nazis. They should be, I'm blanking on the word, condemned. And then he specifies the people who were just there to protest removal of the statue, which there's different reasons for people to have a problem with that statue being removed. I had a problem with it at first, and then someone explained, not to me, but over the radio, and here's an idea. Can we get more people to explain their point more and not just, bad, blah, blah. They explained, it is a symbol of someone who tried to keep my people into slavery. Even if the Civil War, which, by the way, we'll get in that in a second, even if the Civil War wasn't all about slavery, it's still, he was fighting for this cause, and this cause, part of that cause, was for slavery. Now, it seems funny to me, and I'm generalizing here a little bit, that people will be like, oh, the Confederates were for slavery. And then someone else will be like, America never fought for black people. And then someone will bring up the Civil War. And then someone else will be like, oh, the Civil War wasn't about slavery. What? Pick a side, but yeah, it's generalizing. I don't like to generalize, but my left. The left tends to make that argument, and it's probably not the same people, but I could go on for hours about that subject, but I want you to watch my other videos. Sorry, my Brandon Tatum impression. And again, like I've said before, you can watch someone on the right or the left. Doesn't mean you support them 100% or at all. I like to get views from both sides. And I guess something in my dude is late. It's like 5 something. This video should have been up at 4. And like I said, yada yada. Okay, we're gonna try this at end at 15 minutes. So, to recap, find the unbiased fact checker. Make sure they're catching both people on their incorrectness. And you can look up online which news sources are actually unbiased. I can't think of the name of that site. Maybe I'll try to find a link and put it in the description. But yeah, pretty much whoever was incorrect the least wins. And also, I don't know if I finished my point, but yeah, I don't know why the right doesn't bring up the thing of, like, easy stuff. Check the video. Trump specified he was not calling the white supremacists and Nazis very fine people. There's other examples, actually from both sides, but I can't think of them. It's late. I should have been in bed a while ago, and I have a long day ahead of me. So, with that said, one last thing. And I've said it before. I know all these organizations and companies advertise to go vote, just vote, vote. If you don't do your research, don't vote. Easy as that. That doesn't mean you have to watch presidential debates. Doesn't hurt. I found it very interesting. BBC disagreed. They were like, "Oh, I'm surprised that he would stay around to watch the whole thing." I was like, "This is funny as hell, and it's entertaining." And neither one of them threw a knockout punch, so I don't think it would influence who I voted for. But maybe fact checking does. So fact check, independent, unbiased source. And yeah, like, subscribe, turn notifications. USA, peace.